With GIS, we have to store both attribute data and coordinate data, but the coordinate data is typically not visible to us unless we do some other steps. In this example here, we can see some lines that are building into polygons here, and we have the associated attribute table. If we looked in the attribute table, each one of these lines, like line arc ID number 1 here, which is shown here on the first row in this attribute table, would require a lot of points in order to build it. We would need a from node where it starts, we would need a lot of vertices as we shape this line, and then finally we would get to our to node over on this location here. However, this isn't stored in the attribute table because it would be inefficient to store all of those points in the attribute table. So what GIS does instead is it stores a coordinate data separately, and basically it just stores it as a lot of points that make up that line from the first node there to the last node, and then after the last node it includes a pointer to the next arc that's going to be drawn, in this case arc number 2. So in this way we can, it knows that these arcs go together in order to form this polygon, and it's able to store it in this way very efficiently, but there's no efficient way of displaying that in the attribute table. One exception, which it's not actually shown in the attribute table, but we can bring it in easily, is if we're talking about points. Sometimes we just want to know the X and Y locations for points. We might want to export that to some other program, or we might want to do other things with it, but we can get the X and Y location for point data because there's only one point associated with it. It's not as cumbersome as trying to define the outline of a polygon that has a lot of points associated with it. In this example here, we have a feature class with 2 points in it. Each one of those has a unique object ID, and then we can use this add an X and Y coordinates in order to put in 2 new rows, one called point underscore X and one called point underscore Y, that give the X and Y coordinates of those 2 points here. So we can add those points in some case to the attribute table, the coordinate system, but they're not stored there. And so if we want to put those in, we have to use this add XY coordinate operator in order to do that. So the way that we would find that would be, we would just go into the attribute table and we would go under calculate geometry. And this is where we're going to be able to pull out the X and Y coordinates for any point feature class, and it would just add those as a point underscore X and point underscore Y new column in the attribute table.